Oh, it's 2021, you've received your Christmas money and are actually considering starting your journey into the world of filmmaking and YouTube. What a great choice. But the big question is where to actually start, what to actually buy, and why it obviously must be Sony. Since Sony discarded the now 7-year-old Alpha 6000, the next camera in their APS-C lineup is the a6100, which retails in Germany for around 799 euros and is, in my opinion, the best mix of all the latest features they implemented into their APS-C range of cameras. Just take a look at it. It's the perfect beginner camera embodied in a super small package. If you want to see more videos, then please click on the subscribe button. This would be highly appreciated. Let's divert from your YouTube journey for a bit and talk about the obvious thing in, well, my room. Why do you need an Alpha 6100 when you already got a Pocket 4K as your main cam? As already said in the last video, I was considering upgrading my B cam that I mostly use for either behind the scenes shots or for vlogging to either the 6100 or the 6400, or maybe even get another Pocket 4K for, well, one small reason. I was not happy with always having the problem of full HD, no microphone input, buy a second monitor to see myself while filming. Well, okay, that's actually 3 reasons. Since then, I found an unbeatable offer on eBay for a slightly used 6100 from a big German retailer brand that sold some of their demonstration products marked down 250 euros lower than the normal retail price. This, in combination with the money I got from selling my old 6000 standard lens combo kit, well, it was a deal I could not refuse. But the question now is, why should you actually get this one? From a consumer standpoint, you get a great package right from the get-go. There's quite a lot to love and we will talk about it in this video in detail, but also there are some quirks that you should know of that could or could not sway you to the bigger brother of this camera, like the a6400 or the 66. But let's start at the beginning of every new camera journey. What do you actually get when you open up the package? Oh, pretty great for a new beginner low-level entry camera into the Sony APS-C lineup. But let's actually dig deeper into this camera. I am very impressed with the overall quality of the shots that you can get from this kit, especially, well, if I compare it with my old Alpha 6000. Damn, that's actually impressive. What about some more features? Let's just rotate around the camera and see what has actually changed. The Alpha 6100 hasn't changed anything in its appearance. Same body size, even though I have the slight feeling it put on a tad more weight, which I actually enjoy. It makes it easier to control the camera when shooting handheld. There's now, and I'm very happy about that, a dedicated mic jack on the camera, which I dearly missed on my old camera, as well as the old and trusty mini HDMI for connecting an external monitor to the cam if you'd like to, as well as a mini USB port for sharing files and charging the battery while it's inside the camera. I would have loved if instead there would be a USB-C port, because in 2021 I don't like buying into outdated ports and therefore having to pack even more different cables when I'm traveling or on the shoot. Rotating to the back, we have one of the standout features of the camera, which trumps the old a6000 by a mile. The screen itself is now fully articulated and can double as a flip-up screen for all your solo shooter needs. This actually saves me another 150 euros buying a second monitor just to judge if I am actually in focus or not, or if the image looks great. I really did not like that on my old camera, and that it just had half-ass flip-up screen. This always forced me to rebuild every single rig that I had, and actually I did not enjoy building up the monitor and then rebuilding it to the camera. This solution fits most of the B-cam scene setup shooters, second camera angles or A-roll talkie shots, and of course also vlogging. It makes everything so much easier. And the monitor is also touch-based. Kind of. Only in specific situations. Well, at least in one, which is kind of weird, really weird. With a tab you can actually focus onto the subject you want with ease. It's responsive and it's fast. But that's it. There's no more touch functionality besides this one little thing. Heh? The menu cannot be used with touch, only by using the clunky wheel. Why? If you already have a touch screen, why not use it with the menu? This would make everything so much easier, especially for people who are new to Sony menus. But no, let's still use the same old control method, wheel and button in the middle of that to confirm. Oh, and also the menu button doubles as a go back button. How does that make sense in the post-smartphone world? Now you have two custom function buttons that can be used with whatever function you'd like. But the recording button is still clunky and small and mashed into an awkward position next to the other buttons, but still not really there. At least, and I'm glad about that, you can finally customize your shutter button to double as a recording button in movie mode. This actually eliminates the awkward wobbling your finger into the right position to actually push the button in when you're a solo shooter. Sony. Please consider with your next Alpha line camera to think about changing something there. Next, we have the grip with the battery and SD card slot. Well, it's the same battery as all the other ones in the Alpha lineup, except the 6600, which has a bigger battery, which lasts a couple of minutes longer. I've watched some reviews of other people getting the Alpha 6100, and they all have some sort of gripe with the battery life, which I cannot understand. For such a small battery, it's plenty of recording time which you can get out of. Just buy 2 or 3 more and you are actually settled for a day of shooting. I'm so used to always slugging around 6 or more batteries with the Pocket 4K, so that actually this one just feels like it has plenty of juice with a couple of batteries. The grip itself is also very handy. I'm not sure if they changed anything, but it feels grippier than the older one. This could potentially come down to the added weights. I don't know, but it feels really good. They also changed something with the lens mounting system. I, for the life of me, cannot actually call out what they've changed, but it is so much better than before. There is no more wobbling in the lens. It now sits perfectly still on there. I know these are just some minor details to most users out there, but it shows that Sony is actually willing to fiddle even with some small parts to make it perfect. The body itself is not weather sealed. It is made out of plastic, and if I had to put my thumb down on it, why it is cheaper than the 6400, this would be the main factor. I would advise you to run around in a rainstorm trying to vlog your life out of it if you have the money for another camera right afterwards. If not, don't try it. Let's abandon the camera body and its exterior functions and dive right into what has changed in hardware and functions right after this brief message from our sponsor. Oh yeah, just joking, I don't have a channel sponsor that shoves money down my throat to say some really obvious advertisement lines about their half-assed 24/7 customer service, their award-winning templates, and their lifetime subscription to the best damn music delivery service that you need to check out. But I would love to have one. So let's get back to the real business. Call me. There's a lot of change in the hardware as well as software of the Alpha 6100. So much so that I will speed talk about most of it now and then pick up on the highlights some more. Same megapixel size of 24.2 megapixels that is packed into the APS-C crop sensor. They've doubled the ISO value to 51,200, up to 4K 30 frames per second recording. Now have 120 frames per second recording in Full HD as well. We got Bluetooth, WLAN, and a much better autofocus system with up to 425 tracking points. It sports an upgraded processor which you can mostly feel in the responsiveness of the menus, and I'm very glad that they also got rid of the weird in-camera Sony store apps and just integrated those features directly into the camera. There is now a dedicated section on the mode dial called S&Q, which can be used to make slow motion shots easier, but also time lapses without much effort or prior knowledge about it. Now let's get into the one thing that Sony actually does so much better than all of its competitors. Yes, exactly. Lock profiles. And yes, they outdid themselves here as well. The Alpha 6100.
Oh, hey Leech, what's up? Kyle here.
Oh, hi Kyle Zaggart. Why are you calling me in the middle of a review?
I just called to say...
Yes?
There are no log profiles on the a6100.
What do you mean? There are no profiles. It's Sony. What about S-Log?
Nope, no S-Log.
No. Und was ist mit HLG?
Not even HLG.
Herrgottsscheiße, not even HLG.
They cut it from their beginner cameras like the a6000 and a6100, but you can also get something like the a6400.
They've cut it from the entry model lineup to actually entice people to buy a more expensive camera like the 6400,
which has a bunch of log profiles, or you can get something used like the a6300, which is discontinued. It's an older model.
That's absurd. Why would you cut out actually something that makes you a better filmmaker?
There are a bunch of different options that you could choose from.
Why would Sony do something like that?
They didn't put it in their beginner camera, but they... Oh, you're gone. Yeah. Why would Sony do that? Huh.
Still, you can get some dynamic range out of the camera when you fiddle around with its standard settings. But don't expect to grade 6100 footage heavily. It just wasn't made for that. Still, the image quality is pretty good, even without the possibility to grade the heck out of it. This is the thing that actually almost stopped me from buying the camera in the first place. But now, after using it a couple of times, it does not affect me as much as I thought before actually buying it. Well, it still does to some extent, but that's the price difference I actually wasn't willing to pay. And now for the real winner that Sony put into its entire entry-level camera. The best autofocus system on the whole damn market. With 425 detection points, more than double those of my older a6000, much improved tracking while using the video functions, and a newly integrated eye autofocus for pictures. This is the first camera overall that I completely trust the autofocus to do its job 99% of the time, and actually taking the manual focus out of my hand without me worrying about it. The autofocus is very fast, very smooth, and there's no visible focus briefing as far as I can tell. It focuses the things that I actually wanted to focus, and as soon as there is a human involved, it snaps onto its face and actually makes no mistakes, even if he tries to outrun the focus system, making a fool out of itself. A silly human.
Computers make no mistakes, you will learn that in the future.
Conclusion. As a beginner filmmaker, as a YouTuber who wants its first real camera, as a shooter who wants a much better B-cam, you don't have to worry that it won't be good enough. I'm 100% sure it won't disappoint. If you can get it in a sale or slightly used, then it's even a sweeter deal. 4K, 30 frames per second, Full HD, 120 frames per second, flip up screen, best autofocus in its class, mic jack input, better processor, which means better battery runtime. Sony, you haven't disappointed me with this camera. I think it's the new Alpha. Thank you very much for watching. My name was Leech, and thank you very much to my guest,
Kyle here.
Doing a little collaboration on this video. It's highly appreciated. I'm off writing the next script, and just as a little taste for the next couple of videos, I have planned a 3-part series on building a specific thing, as well as a completely new series about animation here on my channel, but more to come very soon. So have a great day, welcome to 2021, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye!